Hello,
Hello, what makes you want to come in my office today?
I was wanting to know how to become a pilot because I'm 16 and I need to get my career path in order.
Decide what you want to fly. FAA's rules for getting a pilot's license certificate differ depending on the type of aircraft you fly. You can choose among airplanes, gyroplanes, helicopters, gliders, balloons, or airships. If you are interested in flying ultralight vehicles, you don't need a pilot's license.
Well, that's great, but I don't want to fly ultralight vehicles.
Well, if you want to fly commercial, you should also think about what type of flying you want to do. There are several different types of pilot's licenses, from student pilot all the way up to airline transport pilot. The information below describes the eligibility, training, experience, and testing requirements for student pilots, recreational pilots, and private pilots.
Well, I want to fly commercial.
Being an airline pilot can be one of the world's best jobs. First-year salaries range from $25,000 to over $50,000 per year. Pilots who have worked for a company for 10 years could have annual earnings close to $300,000. It is possible for a pilot to have even higher earnings during the course of a career. A pilot might only work 8 days in a month. They never have to take their work home with them. Their job is finished when they leave the airplane. Pilots have retirement and benefit packages that exceed what most other professionals earn. They get free or reduced rate travel. They get reduced rate hotel and car rentals. Pilots even have the time off to use these French benefits.
That is so great, and I didn't even know that, Mrs. Cobb.
But most pilots love their jobs, to the point that they even will fly for fun on their days off. Sounds great, right? Well, there is another side of the coin.
Oh my, what is it?
While some pilots do earn those high salaries, most pilots at major airlines earn around $100,000 per year. Still, not bad. However, you have to consider that very few pilots actually work for major airlines. Unlike other professions, which can be reasonably assured that they will get a job once they have finished school, etc., the majority of qualified pilots are not able to procure jobs with a major carrier. My company recently received 7,000 applications for 50 job openings. All of these people were qualified.
Well, that's not too bad if you consider.
How many days a pilot works depends on a number of factors, including which company a pilot works for and how long the pilot has worked for that company. Pilots can work as few as 8 days in a month, to as many as 20. While pilots at a major airline might work 14 days in a month, you must keep in mind that they are not coming home from work on those 14 days. They are actually away from their homes and families half of every month, or more. This is a high price to pay. It would not be physically possible to work much more. Pilots are already living out of their suitcases half their lives.
Well, that's not too bad to consider, because I don't want a family. I was wondering what to do to become a pilot.
Well, that depends. Since you want to work for commercial, it would be very hard to get into if you don't go to the military for such a lofty career. First of all, the younger you start, the better. If you are still in high school, now is the time to start. If you're older, that's okay, but do not procrastinate. If you have never flown an airplane, go out to the local airport and take an introductory ride. These are usually fairly inexpensive, and you will get a chance to fly the airplane. If you don't like it, stop here. If you're like most people, you will enjoy that first ride. Although the flight school will probably try to persuade you to start flying lessons right away, it is better if you don't. Instead, see if they offer a ground school course. If they don't have one themselves, they may know of one. Ground school is where you will begin learning the basics of the subjects mentioned above. If the school does not offer ground school, or if the next ground school course does not start for several months, pick up some books and get started on your own.
Well, I was thinking about going to the military, so it would be easier to get in such a lofty career.
I'll tell you right away, if you want to do this for the money, choose another career.
I want to be a pilot because I like to travel.
There are quite a few books that are written for beginners. One of the better ones is the Student Pilot's Flight Manual by Kirshner. The FAA also has a good collection of books. Now comes the real test. If you enjoy what you are studying in ground school or in the books, you will probably enjoy flying as a career. Everyone likes flying the airplane, but being a professional pilot requires a lot of study. If you don't enjoy the subjects, flying is not for you. While most of today's airline pilots came from the military, it is not the only route. By earning your flying ratings and acquiring the experience through private lessons and later by working as a pilot for small companies, you can get the experience you need to apply to a large carrier. However, if your goal is to fly for an airline, you should strongly consider the military route. The airlines are bound to continue to prefer the experience military pilots obtain. Whether you choose the military or civilian route, you should learn to fly privately first. This start will help you in military flight school, if you choose that route, so you can't lose by taking lessons. Get out to the airport and get started. Your worst enemy is procrastination.
What if I can't become a pilot?
Why, I'm sure a pretty little white girl like you can definitely become an airline pilot.
Okay, Mrs. Cobb, thank you very much for informing me of how to become an airline pilot.